Lifelines presents a powerful, true-to-life story of respect, identity, and a moment that cost a billionaire nearly $1 billion. This is a story that reminds us you never know who's watching and who holds the real power. It was the annual Vistatech Gala, hosted inside a glass-walled conference center in downtown Chicago. With a view that stretched over the skyline, it was a night where billionaires mingled with CEOs, champagne flowed freely, and luxury defined every corner. Among the attendees was Mr. Theodore Langston, an elderly black man in a simple gray tailored suit. He walked slowly but stood tall. Most mistook him for support staff, or perhaps a retired accountant someone brought along out of pity. He didn't mind the silence. He had seen more than his share of assumptions in his 78 years. At the head of the table sat Caroline Blakemore, 50, an icy, sharp-tongued white woman who had just been made co-CEO of Javelin Tech, a firm recently acquired by Vistatech. She wore her money like a sword and wasn't used to being challenged. When she spotted Theodore quietly settling into a seat near the main dining table, she leaned over and scoffed. "Are we letting the cleaning staff dine with us now?" she said with a sneer, loud enough for several guests to hear. A few stifled chuckles, some raised brows. Theodore looked up, gave a small smile, and responded calmly, "Well, I do like a clean conscience with my dinner." As the dinner progressed, Caroline carried herself with visible arrogance, laughing with hedge fund elites and mocking the waitstaff for how they served the. Theodore remained composed, occasionally exchanging polite words with those around him. But eyes were beginning to turn. Several key guests started asking questions. Who is that man? Why does he seem so calm? Why did the CEO of Vistatech personally seat him? Halfway through the evening, Caroline struck again, this time in front of everyone. "Sir, if you're done polishing glasses, or whatever your role was tonight," she said with a fake smile, "perhaps leave room for real guests." Before Theodore could speak, Vistatech's founder and current board chair, Melanie Shaw, approached from behind and said sharply, "Caroline, sit down and be quiet." The entire room fell silent. "Do you know who you just insulted?" Melanie asked, her voice cold as steel. "That cleaning staff is Mr. Langston. He's not just on our board, he's the original founder of the tech you now lead." Gasps. Melanie continued, "He sold his coding framework to Vistatech in 1997 for $9.3 million. We built our empire off it. He still owns 17% of the company." Caroline's smirk disappeared. Within 48 hours, news of the incident had gone viral. Multiple gala guests had recorded the comment. Headlines exploded. CEO calls billionaire founder, cleaning staff faces backlash. Tech giant under fire for gala discrimination. Board members scrambled. Stockholders were furious. Public trust dipped. Javelin Tech lost 3 major contracts, and protesters showed up outside Caroline's Manhattan office. Mr. Langston, he said nothing to the press. Instead, he donated $10 million to scholarships for black students in tech, quietly matching Caroline's annual salary. But the final blow came days later at an emergency shareholder meeting. Melanie Shaw announced, "As of today, Caroline Blakemore has been removed as co-CEO due to behavior not aligned with our company values. Mr. Langston will serve as interim chairman until a new board is elected." The room broke into applause. Section 4. The legacy behind the silence. What many never knew about Theodore Langston was that he started his tech journey from a public library computer lab in Mississippi, taught himself coding at 15, served in the military, slept in shelters while writing code on notepads. He once cleaned classrooms by day and built security algorithms by night. That's how he created vGuard, the original encryption that protected Vistatech's first cloud servers. But he never chased the spotlight. He preferred peace, respect, and watching others rise. Caroline's mistake wasn't just racism, it was underestimating wisdom, humility, and the quiet power of legacy. As Theodore walked out of the shareholder meeting, a young intern ran up to him and asked, "Sir, what would you have done if she hadn't been removed?" He smiled and said, "I didn't come here for revenge. I came here for justice and a clean table." The scandal cost the company $900 million in market value. It took months to stabilize. But a deeper shift happened in the culture of tech leadership across the country. Conversations about respect, race, and assumptions began to echo in boardrooms that had long ignored them. Mr. Langston retired quietly 2 months later. On his final day, every member of the new executive board stood to applaud him, not because of his wealth, but because of his integrity. In his farewell speech, he said one thing that stuck with every single person in the room. People forget what you build, but they never forget how you make them feel. Don't ever confuse someone's silence for insignificance. Let's talk. What lesson did you take from this? Best comment gets his name in the next Lifelines video.